Hello, Reverend Crystal Cox here, Goddess Church. I'm going to talk to you today about dry fasting with my copper water bottle. Okay, so are you ready? Okay. Crystal dramatic. Okay, so I always had heard that if you don't eat or drink for 3 days, you die. I thought that a lot of people kill themselves that way. Like, kind of a more humane suicide. They just stopped eating and drinking. But really, where did that belief come from? Because there was fasting in the Bible. There was dry fasting in all kinds of different religions and different history. So where did I get the belief that you would die if you didn't eat or drink for 3 days? I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't an option for me. Like I said in some videos of alternative medicine, I was really into large amounts of herbs, SECT, alkaline. I've got a booklet I share online of all of the cancer cures, high potency, different vitamins, and then I went to frequencies and of course emotions, and so that whole realm of over 30 years of counseling people with alternative medicine counseling. It's real medicine, right? Real witches, ancient healing medicine. And so I had done water fast. I had done the bentonite by blessed herbs, which swells your intestines and your colon and it grabs all of the old stuff and moves it through. I used to call it the nasty drink. You drink this thick drink, kind of a gingery flavor. All their different cleanses of all their herbs and lots of time and money and effort. I never went more than 3 days, and it was a fast where I was allowed to have liquids, So in all my alternative medicine writings and healing, high alkaline and cancer salves and everything that I've talked about before and everything that I've consulted people on for decades, it really wasn't something that came into my realm. So I started living in a vehicle about 5 years ago. I was living in hotels and doing work through this church. They were kind of moving me around. And then I was, that kind of stopped abruptly. And I had some spiritual things to go through, apparently with no money. I had been like a money manifester my whole life in some way, creating this, creating that. Nope. No. Though I did get, anyway, the point is that I was in the vehicle this one particular night. I was down to like 20 bucks. There was this thick of ice over the window the night before. I had not yet learned how to be warm in a car. So I was warmish, but I was a little sad. I was kind of bummed. I was going through some pretty big intensities at that time. And I thought, okay, well, first of all, also the first couple years in the car, at least the first year, I went to the bathroom like every 4 hours. So, oh my goodness, right? So when the bladder does that, there's a lot of fear involved. That stopped after a few years, but I was really tired of getting up in the middle of the night. I'm so tired of all that and very little money. And I decided to just eat a meal every other day. So I went and bought like a sandwich or something. I kind of was doing it every other day, and I stopped drinking any sort of liquid past 3 in the afternoon. First it was 4, then it was 3, then it was 2, because I didn't want to get up at night and go to the bathroom. And then I kind of went, I don't know if I went like 16 hours or something once, and then I just started researching dry fasting. And I was like, whoa, this is a thing, right? So there's going to be a lot of these videos. I'm just kind of tell you how I came across it. And the more I studied it, the more excited I got. Because it was like, wow, you know, I can, well, I'll go into the benefits of dry fasting, so I won't share all of that. But it was exciting enough to where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. And also, yeah, money, it kind of changed everything. It changed my ability to control my body temperature. It changed the ability to, you know, it lessened expenses. And it went after a whole bunch of different health elements. Remember, in any healing, counseled people over decades, there's a healing reaction. Okay, so sometimes when you do a healing, you'll have old wounds appear, like your arm will hurt really bad, or something might hurt really bad, and it'll go away an hour or two, day or two, and it basically is a cleansing reaction of old stuff coming up and moving out. And sometimes you'll even be able to see visible things, like niacin. The niacin flush will flush radiation out of your body. Sometimes you can see the bathing suit, you can see the different things. So there's a healing reaction, and sometimes it's based on your trauma. So what my healing reaction was, I'm not going to really share on camera, but I did have some intensities. Anyway, there just might be some things come up, but you just when I was going through it, it's like, look, it's just your body, right? I kind of took some ibuprofen. There was a little bit of pain involved, but mostly I had some inflammation that needed to relax. So I took ibuprofen and I just kind of laid on my side and just waited it out. Marijuana is legal where I live, and so I had that. People think that marijuana gives you the munchies, but marijuana is intentional. If you smoke marijuana and you say, I want you to assist me to not want to eat. I want you to help me to relax to sleep. I want you to open my mind. I want you to help me to work on this issue or that issue. Whatever you intentionally say to the marijuana or intend when you smoke it, it does that. So people use marijuana to increase their appetite. Well, I found it to be helpful to decrease my appetite because I'd have different symptoms that it eased. Okay, so what symptoms did I have? Okay, so, and like I said, there'll be more of these as it kind of went on. But I used to have a pain here and think it was hunger pain. I'm like, oh, I gotta eat. I realized that's not a hunger pain. It was a parasite calling for something. So the parasite's like, I want pizza, or I'm craving this, or I'm craving that. It wasn't actual hunger. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that the parasites in my body had such a voice. One thing I really noticed profoundly in dry fasting is that my mind chatter stopped. So I stopped criticizing myself. I stopped belittling myself. I stopped with the negative things in my mind. I just kind of stopped obsessing over or worrying. Just stopped. It went away. So it's like it wasn't even me. Like some entity in my body. There's one video, and I will put it in the description of this video. Only one person that talked about it, and I really loved it. That's why I really like his video. I share it with people. If you're one of my friends watching this, you probably have already seen it. But talking about starving those parasites, actual entities that die off and leave your body. It's very profound. Almost like a bad guy's leaving that's been messing with your head. And that was very profound to me. Okay, so at first I'm like, I wasn't really thirsty. You know, you think you'd be thirsty, but water, too much water kind of flushes things through. When you stop drinking the water, you let everything repropagate. You know, like you'd let a field grow. Like some people let a pasture rest so that it can get all the microbes and stuff back so it can grow things. Well, your body's the same. Actually, leaving it alone, it's smart. You know, it does everything that it needs to do without you constantly flooding it. And you don't need to take probiotics and fermented food to repopulate after. People think you do, but your body does it all when you just let it rest. It's miraculous. Okay, so I felt this pain in my stomach that I used to know as hunger. And I smoked, and it relaxed, and it went away. And after a while, that stopped. And so, and I would go like 12-hour dry fast, 16-hour dry fast, not have that pain. So it wasn't a hunger. Hunger pain is parasite pain. When you're hungry, it's not really a pain. And you don't really know what you get. I got a new understanding of hunger. I got a complete liberation on life, let me tell you. I can live in a car, and I don't have to eat or drink. Kind of wipes the slate clean, doesn't it? So you need very little to survive. And when you know that, and also you learn to adjust your temperatures. Dry fasting does that, but also like that Wolf guy, WF or whatever, does the breathing techniques. You know, learning to control your body temperature. Humans were used to it being much cooler. You know, I was always cold before dry fasting. I had a weird fungus on my foot on and off for 20 years. Gone. I lost 60 to 100 pounds. I thought I lost like 100 pounds. Over about 6 months. I lost a lot in the beginning, but I had, oh man, I had massive stuff that cleaned out. Because what dry fasting does, like with weight. So first of all, I'm going to kind of be jumping around. Oh, that's something new, Crystal. You don't usually do that. Okay. So we have a lot of water retention in our joints, in our legs, inflammation. So once we start dry fasting, that water gets used up because it uses the excess water, right? And then the more you dry fast, the dry fasting uses your fat to create water. So it creates water from extra fat cells. So then, so it uses them up. It will eat like tumorous materials, old decaying cells, cells that are half dead. It'll eat all of those and just gone, okay? And then when you quit your dry fasting and you're rebuilding, all of your new stem cells they're new, growing. I was like, I remember feeling like I did just tons of weights, man. I felt like I'd worked out for months and months, if not years, just from that, because the new cells come back. And and spiritually they come back with your higher consciousness, your higher frequency. And they're smart, right? And they're stem cells. So they're going to be very youthing. They're going to be very invigorating. And the old cells die off. So I was, this was a couple years ago. I did it on and off for 6 months. Walking is good. I had plenty of energy to walk. I would wake up in the morning, had to drive somewhere to go to the bathroom. I was okay to drive. And I'd get more and more to where, I mean, I've done, like a week ago, I did dry fast for 50 hours, and then I went for a drive and hike, you know, no problem. But in the beginning, you know, that's more of the advanced. Different people have different things. I'm kind of a radical. I jump into stuff and I just go for it. Marijuana. Make sure you have magnesium. Make sure you are having bowel movements because you do not want a blockage, okay? And if you have a blockage, make sure you have, I'd have castor oil on hand because that helps, well, it helps kill off parasites, but it helps make sure things are moving. Because sometimes when you dry fast, things might compact. Plus gallstones, I mean, just all kinds of stuff, you know, your body's going to take care of all this because it's not constantly working on everything that you're putting into it. You know, prescription drugs and pop and drinks and coffee and chips. And some people are just constantly going with something and the body doesn't have time to do its job. Okay, so okay, so at first I didn't do any prep, but I never have. You know, like, you gotta do this, and you gotta get ready for a dry fast, and you gotta have good food, and all this healthy stuff when you're doing it. Well, I lived in the car, okay? I would dry fast for 12, 16, 20 hours, or 21 hours. Eat for 3 hours. I'd have, like, a couple of jelly-filled donuts, Coca-Cola. I'd have, like, some hummus, and some tomato, and some crackers, or whatever. And then, candy bar, or whatever, and then go back into the dry fast. So, it wasn't that I was doing some radical diet in between. I just had what I wanted to have. I just did it in a 3-hour period or a 6-hour period. And like I said, I did it for months and months and months. So what I would do is I do lots of 12s. Like most nights I do 12-hour dry fast. And then when I do, you know, 16s and I do 20s. I didn't really do, I did a 24 once, but I didn't really feel safe in the car to go further because I just didn't know what that next step would look like. I have now. I've done like 50 hour. I did a 50 hour about 10 days ago, a 36 and 40s. But this is my second time at, you know, because I lost a lot of weight. I got really strong. And then I stopped dry fasting, you know, and there was the pandemic and I was scared. I was eating, and then I gained a bunch of weight back, but it was different weight and I looked different and it was a healthy weight. And now this time when I went back in and done it again, now the new cells, okay, last time when there was old cells die off, okay, so the weaker cells died off last time and then the stronger cells stayed. Now this time those stronger cells are the weaker cells because I have, and so I just so exciting because all these new stem cells will now replace all of those that died off. Okay, so I had, you might have some just weird pain, like your legs, like, oh my God, like old wounds come up, like past life wounds, whatever, when it's being ran out. If you've had some sort of a trauma, a sexual trauma, molestation, some sort of abuse of some kind when you were young, that may show up as some pain, some weird bone pain and some weird holding and some weird, like, I don't know what it's going to do for you. I know what I went through. And that was only one night that was kind of pretty uncomfortable. And that was, gosh, I was a month or so into it. And during that time I was also getting up at like 6 in the morning, bathing in a sink in town, and working at a restaurant, waiting on tables. So the point is that you can still function and be on a dry fast. So yeah, so I would be done like, so 3 or 4 in the afternoon, I would smoke, and then I would just meditate. And sometimes I'd meditate and just go out for like 14 hours. Just such a relief to not have to go out and go to the bathroom, right? And it was so exciting to me. I mean, this sounds kind of weird, but like after I would dry fast and then I would, you know, have bowel movements, I would just be moving out just so much stuff. Just, you could tell it was just old decay and just stuff that looked like it was 1,000 years old. You know, just all this stuff, and it changes, and it's just so exciting that these layers, and you got the big, you know, the big intestine, the small intestine, all the different layers of stuff that moves out, and gallstones and pancreas stones, and so for you to first start, it's whatever you can do. I mean, I just jumped in, but you know, the very minimum is 8 hours, and I did a dry fast. You know, you don't brush your teeth, you don't drink water, you don't wash your hands, you don't touch water, and for whatever that period of time is. That way your body can use all of its resources to use the excess in the body and get rid of it. Okay, so, but 12 hours, you should be able to do 12 hours. So whether it's like 6 or 8 at night, you stop, and if you want to brush your teeth or whatever, don't even worry about it. Your teeth, your hair, everything. The dry fasting cleans you. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. I never felt anything like it. So do whatever you need to do to prepare, and take magnesium. You know, eat a little bit of coconut oil, definitely. You know, just whatever you can stand, like a teaspoon or whatever. And remember, yeah, some things are gross when you're doing healing stuff, but so what? You know, so that, and then you just kind of you just stop. And when you wake up, the symptoms I would sometimes get is my stomach would pull. So it'd feel like it's pulling for something. And I recognize that, and now I know that for sure, that is pulling, that's old decay being eaten. That's old cells being eaten. That's fat cells. It's drawing on and eating what's already there. It's not a hunger pain. Because, well, I'm hungry because I haven't eaten. Right, but I'm not. And I would find that, I mean, I loved cooking in my mind. I cooked, like, you know, chicken pot pies. I made all these homemade things. I just loved it. And then I would plan everything I was going to eat the next day, and I didn't. When I woke up, I wasn't really hungry. The first time I had I spit a lot of white. old plaque. Like, you know how it's like, they have a lot of mucus. It was mucus, but it was plaque. So it was white mucus. Because the old layers of stuff just coming out. And so I was agile. The weight went off. I started walking. I had already started the walking even more because when I was cold. I was sitting in the coffee shop. It was, pre-pandemic. And I could not get warm. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. And then I just went and ran these stairs. There's these stairs in the town where I live. And I said, every time I get cold, I'm just gonna go until my body stops being cold or complaining about it or whatever. And so I did that. And then I'd walk. So if you can do walking, weights, sit-ups, push-ups, stretches, any kind of movement at all will help it through. But I also found that just, sleeping. So just having a smoke and just meditating, it is the most amazing sleep, the most amazing dreams, because, foods have voices. And not just if they're animals, if they're plants, if someone's touched them, there's energy in things. And when you stop putting in anything, you just have you, and you get to that pure and pure point of you and your visions and your connection to the divine. Dry fasting starves fungus, starves candida, starves all the bad things in your body, because it's like it's not going to feed them. It's on survival mode and doesn't know when it's going to get food again. So it's eating all the bad stuff. So eating tumors, eating cancerous cells, eating anything it can, but it's not going to eat the best of the best, right? It's going to eat what's dying and decay. And so that's getting rid of that in your body. But if you keep putting stuff in, that'll never get used up and it'll never get moved out. So I recommend you jump right in. Maybe just do 112 and jump right into a 16. If you can do 16 3 days a week, that would be awesome. I like to do it, just keep doing it. So like if I do a 12, probably wouldn't do a 12 anymore, because I'll stop like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then I just shoot for 12. I shoot for 12 because I like to make a deal with my body. And then at 12 hours I'm like, I'm cool. Then I'll go 4, so I'll shoot for 16 and just see how I feel. Okay, migraine, boom, done. That's my cutoff. If I get a migraine, I'm done dry fasting. Okay, so you got yes, and when you stop dry fasting, I totally recommend this. Sea salt or red salt, put some under your tongue and with your first few drinks of water. Believe me, you'll thank me. Because I read that in some of my studies, and before that, if I hadn't drank after like 16 hours, 20 hours, whatever, then I would drink the water and my stomach would go whoop. But with a little bit of salt in the first, my stomach didn't do that. And so that's a very nice tip to know. That's an accent I don't know. And then, yeah, walking, prayer, intention. When the stomach starts pulling and you don't really like that, you just smoke. And so if you wake up and you just feel agitation or anything, smoke and relax your stomach muscles, and then just go to sleep. Sometimes when I would do my meal, I would do some ibuprofen too, just for stomach or relaxation or different pains and things. And then because then when you're in it, you're in it. So yeah, I would recommend starting your first time at 12 hours and then shoot for 12 hours every day and go as long as you can. So keep adding, and you'll see, and sometimes if you feel like, you're like, oh, I'm lightheaded, I need to eat. I used to think that. It's absolutely not true. The lightheaded, if you do feel that, that's the parasites calling out and wanting something. It's not really real. It's something dying off. It'll pass. It's okay. Just ignore it. Pains in your legs, there's going to be different pains and things that might come up depending on who you are. But and if you do prescription drugs or whatever, only do them during your eating time. If you have to do those sort of things. I don't do any of that or believe in any of that, but muscle test, talk to your guides and angels and ask them what's best for you. Dry fasting is a cure-all. And number one, why? Because your body knows what to do. this didn't grow here. I don't got arms for a head, right? I don't got arms coming out of where my ears are. The body knows what to do, but you gotta let it do what it's do. If I'm constantly putting in chemicals and toxins, and if you think about it, everything's a toxin, because no water's pure enough, nothing's pure enough. The pure water, and some people, they pretty much stop drinking water after this. I mean, because I used to write about you're not sick, you're thirsty, and how important water was. Even though my naturopath said I was forming a brain tumor because I was drinking too much water and I was removing all the potassium out of my body. But now, the purest form of water is from food. From your own body making water. And so that's kind of what's happening when you're dry fasting, is you're drinking the purest water you possibly can because your body's creating water. So yes, 12 hours, like say from 6 at night to 6 in the morning, whatever your schedule is, and then just shoot for 16. And like I said, even now, even though I did 40 and 50, my mind likes to say, okay, I'm shooting for 12 hours, and then at 12 hours make a new marker. And then I make a new marker and a new marker, depending on how I feel. And I went a couple days, a couple weeks ago. And so, wow, I'm off. Gosh, it's about a week and a half going into regular, and I'm getting ready to do some physical work. And so after that, I'm going to do it again. And it's so cool. I mean, I lost a bunch of weight, but I had a bunch of things clear up. It does a bunch of stuff in clearing up teeth stuff, all kinds of stuff. And but then, you know, you might have loose skin and stuff. Like when you lose a lot of weight, people do have that. But when you're dry fasting, it actually, you know, it pulls everything tighter. It you know, makes youthful, all the old skin. I mean, youthing, definitely huge. But I did, in these last ones, these bigger ones, I did lose weight to where I have kind of some few skin rolls, kind of. It's pretty dramatic, and if you can walk or do anything else, like I said, I was shocked that I could function. But at first, the haze, you know, because I had kind of hazy on my eyes, and you can kind of feel where it's going in your body, and it's just beautiful. Reverend crystalcox@gmail.com. If you have any questions as you go along, don't be afraid. Don't ask your doctor. There's tons of stuff online. I have huge playlists of people that do dry fasting. And you might know people that do the keto diet. This is kind of like that, except for it's better. So you go into autogen or whatever it's called, and your body it's eating itself in a good way. It's not eating the stuff you need, obviously. It's going after the stuff you don't need. And so well, here's something to remember. Okay, so you're in it, you're okay, you're feeling good. When you're done, then when you start eating and like a few hours into it, sometimes you get really tired, or you get like some sort of pain or something weird after you start eating again. You might have some sort of symptoms. And so, you know, if you have something that you have to do out of the house and stuff all the time, you might just shoot for 12s now. You just go by how you feel and go by your intuition. There's a lot of stuff I'm not saying right now because it's just not kind of coming to mind. So I guess this is a good first video about this, and I'll put quite a few links to information in the description, and check back that description. I will add more later. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, people do it all the time. Ramadan or whatever that holiday is, people do it. Dry fasting. Some people, the people you see on the on YouTube talking about it, they do it days and weeks and sometimes for like a month. And I've met breatharians that just say they live off of the sun and air. I didn't know that was a form of dry fasting, you know. Oh, but I'll tell you, oh my God, something that's stretching became orgasmic, just stretching. Oh my God, food tastes so much better, but the air. And I live in the Pacific Northwest, and the air is kind of moist anyway. But I would go out like on the waterfront, or just go out to the air, and especially at night, and just breathe it. Oh man, it's like ice water, like the quenches your thirst all over your body, and it's just beautiful. Also, keep in mind, emotions might come up, things that you had suppressed in layers of fat or layers of toxins or whatever. They might come up, so just be gentle on